In this video, we were going to discuss quadratic equations in two variables. Well, we learned that the graph of a linear equation in two variables is a straight line. We're now going to learn that the graph of a quadratic equation in the form of y equals ax to the second power plus bx plus c is a parabola. What we're going to do first is we're going to find the intercepts. So we're going to find the x and the y intercepts first. So let's go ahead and work through the y-intercept first. All right, so to find the y-intercepts, we're going to set x to 0 and then solve for y. Okay, so 0 times 0 is 0, and 0 times minus 12 is 0, and 600 times 0 is 0, so y is going to be 0. So our y-intercept, okay, is 0. Okay, so now let's go ahead and find our x-intercepts. So to find our x-intercepts, what we need to do is we need to substitute 0 for y and then solve for x. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so at this point, let's go ahead and multiply our whole equation, both sides, by minus 1 so we can have this first term be positive. So we're going to be minus 1 times 0, and then minus 1 times minus 12x to the second power plus 600x. So this becomes 0, this becomes 12x to the second power minus 600x. Okay, so now let's go ahead and remove a greatest common factor, which is going to be 12x. Times. All right, so now let's use our zero factor property. So this becomes 0 because 0 divided by 12 is 0. And then this becomes 50. So we have two x-intercepts. Okay, so remember y was 0. So the first one is 0, 0, and then the next one is 50, 0. Okay, so over here we have our y-intercept, and over here we have both of our x-intercepts. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clear this screen. Okay, so our next step then would be to find the vertex of this parabola. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So let's first, we have to find the x-coordinate of this vertex, and remember the formula for that. It's minus b over 2a, okay? So using our original quadratic equation, a is going to be minus 12, and b is going to be 600. So we're going to plug those values right into our formula. Okay, and again, we're working on finding the x-coordinate for our vertex. So the numerator becomes minus 600, the denominator becomes minus 24, and then negative 600 divided by negative 24 is a positive 25. Okay, so that's our x-coordinate so far. Okay, and I'll kind of put it over here. So we know that x is 25. So we now have to find y. And so to find the y-coordinate, we're going to take this x-coordinate and plug it back into the original equation up here, and then solve for y. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So 25 to the second power is 625, and then 600 times 25 is 15,000. Minus 12 times 625 is minus 7,500. And negative 7,500 plus 15,000 is 7,500. Okay, so that is our y coordinate. So as we can see now, we have our vertex. So this is going to be the highest point of our parabola. All right, so now that we have our y-intercept and our x-intercept, in our vertex, let's go ahead and graph this parabola. So we know our y-intercept is going to be 0, 0, and then our x-intercepts and 50. Okay, so our vertex is going to be 25, 7,500. So because this is going to be so steep, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, this isn't going to be to scale just because of how high it goes. So I'm just going to make believe this up here ends up being 7,500. So this isn't going to be to scale. But I will show you what it looks like to scale. I have a graphing program that I use, and so that helps us create that a little bit more to scale. So if we follow that up and we say that this is our 7,500 Mach right up here, okay, it's going to be about right in there. And so remember, our vertex, it's going to be U-shaped, not V-shaped, so we know that that's not going to come to a point. Okay, it's going to just come like a U. And that's not exactly straight. All right, so that's a kind of a U-shaped parabola there. Let me show you what it would look like using an actual drawing program that does the actual graph itself. Okay, so here is what it really looks like. So as you can see how high it goes and how narrow. It's mainly in the first and fourth quadrants. Okay. We can also notice just from our quadratic equation that because the coefficient of x squared is negative, we know that that corresponding parabola is going to open downwards. All right, so we can see that in this image as well, that it does indeed open downwards. All right. And our vertex is at 25 for the x-coordinate and 7,500 for the y-coordinate. So that right there alone is going to tell you that it's very high and very narrow. Okay, and again, it is going to be in the first and fourth quadrants, and it may even go down into the third quadrant down below there. All right, and that concludes this video.